Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Whovians. And this is our first cast of 2016, guys. And we've been waiting to do this one for a while now. We wanted to do the Doctor Who 1996 film, the Paul McGann film. We were all pretty excited to do this one. We have a lot of buddies here that are big into the McGann audios, man. So any little gaps they might, throw in there for us. For those of us that are not as familiar with the audio books there. But great. I am happy. I'm happy. I got a bunch of great people here. Beautiful faces. Every one of you. Beautiful faces. It's always good to see my buddies here. It is always, man. We're missing a couple today, but we'll have some more tomorrow. I promise you. It'll be even more fun. So here we go, guys. This is it. This is the return of the Doctor. You know, the Doctor was missing for a while. We were hearing a Doctor Who movie was coming about. I guess it was too good to be in the movie theater, so they just flopped it on the television for us for free. So we're going to see what everybody thought about the 1996 Doctor Who television movie. And today we will begin with Texas Tim.
Devil. It is what it is. It's a historically, you look back at it, it breaks up the so-called wilderness years. It's a paradigm shift for the ongoing continuity of the program or the story of Doctor Who because they switched doctors. And it's interesting to look at it in the context of the time because this was the 90s and you had a lot of really good telefantasy programs in the United States on American TV that were also very popular in the UK, such as the X-Files, 2 Star Treks I think were going on, and you had Babylon 5 and stuff like that, Buffy towards the end of the decade. So I mean, it was you had a lot of choices, and I have to go to the window.
All right, Texas Tim, busy as always, man. He comes to us live via satellite from his business. Awesome. Thank you, Texas Tim. He'll hop in and finish up a little bit later. We'll pass it on to our buddy Jimmy, man. What did you think of the Doctor Who film?
Well, in retrospect, everyone likes to put it down. I watched it when it first aired, and I was really looking forward to it, especially since Sylvester McCoy was going to reprise his role and then regenerate into the Doctor. And after I watched it, and while I was watching it, I was very disappointed. I was really looking forward to it. McCoy hardly had any lines. That really disappointed me. I thought the portrayal of the Master was too camp, way too camp. It was never, it became ridiculous. I did not like when he said he was half human on his mother's side, because I thought they were trying to make him like Spock, half human. The pacing seemed wrong. The pacing of Doctor Who that I remembered was totally different, and I wonder if they did the pacing for the American audience. As to Paul McGann's portrayal of the Doctor, I liked that. I did like his portrayal of the Doctor, but he didn't spend, the script had it, too much time lost and confused and not knowing who he was. Also, because they had Sylvester McCoy in it until he regenerates, we actually, in a 90-minute Doctor Who movie, with less than 90 minutes, because you had to take out the time for the commercials, we really had maybe 40 minutes of the new Doctor, which really isn't time to get to know the Doctor. But his portrayal of the Doctor I liked. But overall, I thought it was disappointing, but hoped they'd still give it a chance, because Doctor Who hadn't been on TV, so I would like to see more. And when Doctor Who came back, I thought it was unfair to Paul McGann that he didn't continue as the Doctor. I thought it was a slap in the face to him. But to rate it out of a scale of 1 to 10, I'd have to give it. I'd have to give it a 5. It is worth a watch.
Worth a watch in the middle with it. That's cool, Jimmy, man. Fair enough, dude. All right, let's go back to Texas Tim. Let's let him wrap up his little rap he had going on. Take it away, Texas Tim.
Well, what I was saying was it was the context of the time. So you had all of these other shows on, and I think that that's the audience they were aiming for. I think they did make it a little bit too aimed at American audiences, because one of the reasons I think, like anybody in our group from this side of the water, likes the Britishness of it and likes the show for what it was, and to try and squeeze that into like a an American program kind of show, I think that's what hurt it in a lot of ways. Like Jimmy pointed out, the whole half human thing, that's just silly. I mean, I just look at it as kind of a joke, a not very good joke. And I agree with Jimmy about McGann's performance. He's very good as this new doctor. I think the rest of the cast is pretty good too. I didn't really have a problem with Eric Roberts being too campy, because I think that's what he was going for. It was going for that like sometimes Ainley was quite campy as well. But I also think it's pretty well directed. I like the and the look of it is very good. I mean, it still holds up pretty good for a 20-year-old movie. I mean, it's filmed in Vancouver, the same place they film X-Files, or did back then, and it's just I think the look of it is very good. But I do think it's a bit slight on the story. Not a bad story, but it doesn't really. You can see why people were disappointed in it. I think it just wasn't. It didn't really capture the essence of what Doctor Who is. I think it's not bad, but it's not great. I mean, it's just like I would, if I was to rate it, I would probably give it a 6.5 or a 7. I don't hate it, but it's not something I would whip out to watch all the time.
Fair enough there, Texas Tim. Thank you, sir. All right, we're going to go to another one of my great buddies, a guy that I absolutely love, Beef Dad. Now, you look a little hungry, so what do you have to say about this story?
It's a shame that there isn't a law, although there's probably a bylaw in some obscure little village in England against this. Yeah, Paul McGann's performance has grown on me. But there again, at my age, so does mold. He's pretty convincing as the Doctor, actually. And looking back, and I think I must agree that it was a bit of a slap in the face that when they brought Who back on television, they didn't invite McGann to kick it off. I think that's really pretty insulting to him as an actor. Because to be perfectly honest, I quite liked the pairing of him and Daphne Ashbrook. I really did. And she would have been definitely a damn good companion for the return of Doctor Who to the British television screen. I also agree that it had been Americanized, and not in a good way. I mean, for God's sake, they tried to turn Eric Roberts into some kind of Marvel villain. And I mean, that extraordinary moment at the top of the stairs in the cloister where he comes out in the robes was just so unimaginably camp. I mean, even he's campist. Anthony Ainley would never have done that, because he would have said, no, absolutely no way, that is not the Master. I mean, it was bad enough on British television when they made him a complete psycho, but the thing was, at least he was a complete psycho, and not, as I say, a sort of second-class Marvel villain. Yeah, there was a couple of really good performances. I mean, there was Will Sasso playing the Pete, the mortuary attendant. And, oh, God, how many times have we seen the comic mortuary attendant in American series? I can't remember, but I've seen that so many times I wouldn't even like to count it. And whereas, yes, it would work in a sort of American comedy series, it doesn't work in Doctor Who. Not to that extent. I'm sorry, but the standing up, looking the Doctor directly in the face, and then doing the flat on the back feint it's really funny, but it's something that they stopped doing in silent films a long time ago. Sylvester McCoy, yeah, apparently it was that was down to the producers. They didn't want Sylvester McCoy in it. But everybody, they were said that they were told that there's got to be a link. There's got to be a link to the original Doctor Who. And they said, okay, well, we'll do that, but don't give him any dialogue. That sort of thing is a bit of a kick in the teeth, shall we say, to the fans that had been watching Doctor Who all those years, and they basically want to do a standalone film and chuck out anything to do with the British version, which is basically what they tried to do with the whole thing. But as I say, Paul McGann, yeah, I've also been listening to a lot of Paul McGann audios, and yeah, he's very good. He is very good as the Doctor. And as I say, the whole thing disappointed me. Marcus absolutely loathes it. He likes the classics, he likes the new Who. But this film just doesn't do it for him. So for me, to be perfectly honest, I mean, the best I can give it, and that's basically for Paul McGann and Daphne Ashbrook, is a 4.
All right, a solid 4 from Beef Dad. All right, thank you, sir, for all your input on that, man. All right, we're going to go with Neo next on this one. What did you think of this story, Neo?
Let's see. It's been a while, but I do remember it, which is kind of weird because I don't remember most of the Doctor Who episodes I watch unless I watch them at least, a couple more times before I make my exact review. But I can see where everybody's coming from. But now, here's the thing. Take out the concept of saying, it's like, what if nobody knew about Doctor Who? We're just saying. We didn't know about Doctor Who over there in the UK and everything, and the American decided, hey, look, we're going to do this new concept, this new movie. We're going to do right to TV called Doctor Who. And they do a regeneration. I mean, it would be confusing at the beginning, but purely, if you don't connect it, it works. It's something you might want to watch again, if you didn't know about the history and all that. Now, you add all of that back in. You add in the Doctor. You add in the companions and the length. I mean, you add in all of the history. And it is a smack in the face. You have to say that. It's like oh, wow, you just smacked me in the face. But Paul McGann was good. You wanted to pull him out of there and put him in something better, which is Big Finish. But it works to me up to a point. Is it the best? No, it's not the best. It's the campiest mess I've ever seen besides a certain other TV show. But it's decent. Garrett Roberts, I don't know. I think I said his name right. I see him almost in every single movie I've ever seen. I look up, he's in a movie. I was actually surprised to see him in a Doctor Who movie. I was like, wow, you're in this too. Who are you? Oh, crap, you're the Master. Okay, that's weird. I did like that part, though, when he was that, whatever, was it a snake or, I don't know what it was, a slug or something, but he got all in his body and mess, and they puked. It was nasty, but it was cool. Grace, awesome companion. And I guess if you want to consider I don't know the gentleman name that was with the master, but you want to consider him to be the companion's master, the master, the companion of the master. That was kind of cool too. Overall, yes, Paul McGann gave us the kissy face. I honestly think he started it. People think Tenet started it. No, he started it. So, in a sense, how would I rate this? Can't say I can't give it a low rating. Can't give it too high. But I'm going to give it maybe what? I know. I'll give it a 7.5. It's good. Would I watch it again? Yes, I might have to watch it again because my mom thinks Paul McGann's hair is beautiful. Anyways, I'm finished.
It was a beautiful wig. But I will do this. Since this is a new year, this is 2016, guys. We're going to do things a little different. Because the host ain't going last all the time, all right? I'm getting tired of going last all the time. So guess what? I'm next. All right. Let me tell you something, guys. Let me tell you what I did dig about this, man. Every part Sylvester McCoy was in, excellent, man. We got to see the Seventh Doctor's interior TARDIS, which is still my favorite look of any TARDIS. So that movie did give me my favorite TARDIS interior of any. I just love that look. I love the books. I love it's like a living room. It's comfortable. He's just chilling out, eating some jelly babies. Sylvester McCoy was ace in this. He was awesome in this, man. And I am glad that they did put him in this movie. Now, the way they killed him off, which I guess can be debatable. He did get shot where Grace could actually kill him on the operating table. I guess we can get a little more into that in the afterwards there. But him stepping out of the TARDIS and getting shot like that sucked, dude. I didn't dig that, dude. That kind of pissed me off, man. I don't think the Doctor should ever go out like that, man. That was really that to me was something that I don't think you would ever see in a Doctor Who episode. That's where I guess you would say is Americanized. I don't know, dude. Gang people shooting the Doctor. Crappy, dude. And he's a lovable Doctor, man. Okay, so the first time I saw that, yeah, tear. Okay, now this is something me and Texas Tim talked about before, where we had our magazines, our star logs, if you remember, letting us know, yeah, the Doctor's coming, who's going to play the Doctor, this and that. Of course, we knew it was going to be, made in Canada, but it was Americanized, I guess, with a mix of Canadianized also, if that's anything. But we didn't know who was going to be the Doctor right away. There were a whole bunch of names thrown around. I think even Bill Cosby. I think even Michael Jackson at some point. Seriously, man, look it up, guys. But not for nothing, the regeneration in this, I thought was freaking awesome. Now, first you had the stretchy face thing, which is absolutely weird and creepy and dumb. But the whole Highlander quickening thing going on, that was freaking awesome. I did dig that when the Doctor's just got that thing on him. He's just walking down the hallway with all that was a really cool shot, a really cool scene. The rest of the movie was pretty boring after that for me personally, dude. I wasn't really. Grace could have been cool, but again, it's like the first story or the only story you're really gonna see her in, So it's like one of the Doctor's first stories, and that's it. So that's all you get. So it's hard to really judge it. The Chang Lee kid, I wasn't really into him. Eric Roberts. Hey man, he's not work out there. He just got done doing what? The Human Centipede 3, man. He's a great guy, man. His sister is gorgeous. But him as the Master, I didn't dig, man. And I don't really come down on Doctor Who much. I just didn't dig his look, man. I wasn't feeling it, man. I just wasn't feeling it. And I think I got thrown off instantly when I first saw the movie. Just the way I didn't like how Sylvester McCoy was killed off. That kind of bugged me, man. But now, like some of you guys were saying, Paul McGann had a great look for a Doctor. It's a shame we never really got to know him visually. audioly, yeah, I guess so. If you guys are listening to the audiobooks, yeah. And I guess we'll get into more Night of the Doctor in our discussion. It is a shame that they brought back the series and at least didn't give him a regeneration at that point or something. Or, it is a shame. But, I'm in the middle with this movie. I'm like a 5 or I hate to give a low rating to any Doctor Who, you know me, but I'll watch it because there are parts I dig, like I said, but very few and far between, and mostly in the beginning. Maybe the first 20 minutes, was really cool for me, man. I'm sorry, I just didn't dig this one, but like I said, I think I'm gonna stick with a 5. I'm just in the middle. I've been thinking about it all day. Was I gonna give it a 5 or a 6? I think I'm at a 5 on, and that's very low for me to give to a Doctor Who story. Now, I'm done. Now we're gonna pass this on to Beef. The Beef is here. Take it away, Beef. Blow us away, Beef.
Hello, everyone, and Happy New Year to everyone watching as well, in case I haven't had a chance to speak to you all. This is a very odd fish. Maybe it's better if I start saying the things that I did like about it. Yes, I completely agree with Mike. The high points for me are the bits at the start with Sylvester McCoy. I like the rejigged TARDIS because it gave it a different feel. McGann was good, but only from, for me, halfway through. It takes him a while. I know you're saying that, Doctor regenerates, but I think for him, looking comfortable in the role, it takes a long time for him to get into his stride. Daphne Ashbrook is good as well. I can't fault her performance at all. But it sort of finishes about there, really, with the things that I do like about it. Stylistically, it is for me not great. You want to make something that's like a co-US UK production and everything like that, and appeal to fans of Doctor Who in America as well as the UK. And the thing is, the people who are already fans, which are the ones that you're trying to get through the door, probably with this, rather than trying to get new people, have already watched the UK version, and that's what drew them into it. It's something that I think has a intrinsic British nature to it to a certain degree, and you lose that with it. Obviously, it's upsetting to see another Scotsman gunned down in an alleyway as a result of gang violence, because we already saw that happen to Sean Connery in the end of The Untouchables. So, it's quite upsetting from that point of view. I'm glad that this happened. I am glad that this happened. Don't get me wrong. I'm not one of these people who say, hey, this has to be erased from all memory of Doctor Who and everything like that, because it provided really good points of mistakes were made. And for that reason, those mistakes were not repeated when the show was brought back. And for anything, I am thankful to it for that. I did like the Frankenstein scene cut away, which is mimicked by the body, but the humour was just forced, to be honest with you. It was, pulling faces and everything like that. Will Sasso, who was the orderly in the hospital, is a very, very good comedic actor. He did Stuff My Dad Says with William Shatner. He's actually very funny in his own right, and I think this was one of his earlier roles, to be honest with you, but he just comes across like a bumbling idiot. The regeneration, all of a sudden the Doctor has superhuman powers and can break down a morgue door. Then he wanders around wrapped in a blanket. Who am I? It's just a contrived and a crap, to be honest with you. And the script and the phrasing of it is poor. That's it. I'm trying to not swear, because there are words, so many words that you could use to describe the script of it, which is bad. Even the music is bad. The effects are, it does look like it's done on the cheap. I think there was better technology available at the time, but they chose not to do it. Anticipation for this at the time was very high. I remember being excited that it was there's going to be something, there's going to be new, this could potentially lead to something else, but you just walked away feeling meh. To use a 2015 expression, it is that really, and it's, like I say, I'm glad what happened because the mistakes were not repeated. McCoy was good, Roberts was just over the top. I'm trying to think of a way that you could make the Master better in this, and to be honest with you, his writing was crap anyway, but it would have been better to have a different actor. I think it would have been perhaps better to have an English actor work opposite him. I don't think that would have alienated the American audience. Maybe someone like Pierce Brosnan, someone like that would have been a good opposite, to be honest with you, who already had a well-known established fan base in the States with Remington Steele and everything like that. I'm not sure. I think he may have been doing James Bond at the time, but I think you could have actually, you wanted to invest so much into this, you could have got someone like that at the time. I liked the idea of having the Eye of Harmony. The only thing that really did do it for me at the end, though, was it was disappointing at the end because, Magic TARDIS brings everyone back to life, which is a really crappy plot thing to do. Now, don't get me wrong, I know we've had Jack Harkness in the new series and everything like that, but it's just the way it was done, it just holds no merit. It just makes for a pat, happy ending and a really bad ending to a not very good story. Music was dire. Let's say redeeming features of this are few. Thankfully, Paul McGann went on to do audios, and I know we'll get on to the Minnesota. So for me, I struggled with what to give this as well. I don't like to dump on the show that I love, but for me, it's got to be a 4.5. It really is down there. When I spoke to Graham about this before, he said, well, put this in context of the classic series. And yeah, you can do that. There are ones that are not great in the classic series. But try and put this, if this was the last thing that they ever made that was Doctor Who, what a bad way to finish it off. And I'm glad that it wasn't. So yeah, that's it. Cheers, man.
All right, thank you, Beef, man. Thank you, buddy. All right, who we have now? I'm going to save Harry for last, because he also has some extra little input for us. So we're going to go with Alid next, man. What do you have to say about this?
Well, I'm depressed now after listening to all that. But I have to say, I have to pick up on something that Beef said about knocking the door down and about the Doctor having superpowers or something like that. In Series 9, he thumped through a wall that was hard as diamonds or something, 1,000 times harder than diamonds or something like that. So I don't see that point. But anyway, let's start off at the beginning. I think the beginning is great. The intro, I think it's really good. I like what they've done with the theme tune, and I like that Paul McGann narrates over it too. About Time Lords having 13 lives. I think that's good. The only problem with the beginning bit is obviously the Dalek voices, because they don't work at all. Honestly, they don't work. They shouldn't have really put them in there. They just sound stupid. But I have to say, I like it. I really like this film. I think it is funny. I find the humour funny. I think there are funny lines in it throughout. There really are. And I like the bit where the Doctor's waking up. He's regenerated and he knocks down the door and then the man faints. I just find it funny. I like Grace. I think she's great. I think she really works well with Paul McGann. I think they're just brilliant together. The Master, yes, I can see why people don't like the character of the Master played in this one. But I think he does the job. Doctor Who has always been a little bit camp. It always has, especially in the JNT era, and RTD as well. It's always been a little bit camp. So that doesn't really bother me. What else? No, I think that's it. Yeah. I'm going to give this, I'm going to shock everybody. This is going to be a shock now, everybody, because I actually generally really like this film. I've seen. Let's just put it like this. I saw Star Wars recently. I saw Star Wars. People are giving Star Wars a 9. I didn't like Star Wars. I thought it was rubbish. And people also give high praise for the 50th anniversary. And I don't like the 50th anniversary of Doctor Who either. So for me, this has to get. I'm going to give it a 9.5.
Wow, man. There you go, guys. There you go. You were pleased with that. That's fine, man. That's fine. Actually, our buddy Lee Wilson, who's not here, I believe, I'll speak for Lee. I have no idea, but I'm assuming Lee's giving this one a 10 out of 10. Daleks popping around or anything. So I'm going to speak for Lee, and if he has anything else to say, he can leave it in the comments section down there. All right. All right, Harry, take it away. And Harry also has the novel to this and everything. He's going to throw it all in.
Not only do I have the novel, I also have the script book as well. So, time to give a new perspective. Everybody thinks of this as a made-for-television movie. They're right and they're wrong. It was a made-for-television movie, but it was also a pilot. It was an attempt to take Doctor Who and bring it to the States as a full-fledged series. Now, they did shoot in Vancouver, Canada. This is where a lot of the shooting of TV shows such as the X-Files, those Friday the 13th series, and a bunch of others were done at. So that's why you don't see much of the San Francisco scenery that you would expect normally from a TV show to be shown at. As far as the show itself, I thought they did a good job, but Fox made one major mistake when they aired the movie when they did. They forgot about the other 3 major networks. And that's what killed the movie here in the United States. NBC, National Broadcasting Company, had the rights to football at that time. And they had scheduled a major American football contest that Tuesday night. CBS, the Colombian Broadcasting Service, was very much in soap operas at that primetime soap operas at the time. So they had a major plot twist on one of their primetime soap operas going at the time, which was another thing that put a knife into the movie pilot. ABC, American Broadcasting Corporation, was going with the comedy series Roseanne. They had a unique thing going on all season, and with the airing of what they had that night, the audiences just basically decided, we don't want to watch this Doctor Who movie. We don't know enough about Doctor Who to be able to comment on it. So they ignored the movie, the pilot, and they went with their usual shows. The movie did a fantastic job overseas, but as far as the pilot attempt here in the United States, it tanked. It tanked big time enough that the BBC said, I'm sorry, we're not going to give you guys another shot at it, no matter what you've done. And you guys did a good job on it, but your ratings just didn't say enough to keep more. So as far as the stories, the movie's concerned, I'd have to give it a 6. The first book we have for today is the novelization, done by Gary Russell. And many of you may know Gary Russell very well. Author, writer, very much been involved with the series over the years. Gary put, when he wrote this book in February '96, that the book's been written speedily from an excellent script, but with very precious visual references. So basically, he did what he could, but with the way they changed the movie around when he was writing it, it didn't come out that book well. I give the novel a 5. The second book is the script book, written by Matthew Jacobs with a Philip Segal introduction. Both the novel and the script book have the same pictures in them. The only reason I give the script book a 6 is because it follows the movie more accurately than the novel does. As far as the movie itself, I give it a 6.5. But as I said, people downplay the movie so much, but you've got to remember, here in the States, this was a made-for-television movie, and it was also an attempt at a pilot to bring Doctor Who to the United States, which got killed. So if you're going to run the movie down, remember the circumstances of it, and just think upon that next time you watch it.
Thank you, Harry. Man, we sure missed you, buddy. We got Harry back, guys. Harry, thanks, man. All right, we're gonna go to Brian. Did you actually watch the film?
Yes, I did.
All right, then take it away, man. Let us know what you thought of it.
All right, so the Doctor Who TV movie. Let's see here. Well, to me, the TV movie felt like well, it was a Doctor Who TV movie, but it felt like more like something that's trying to be Doctor Who. It, like the Star Wars prequels, it's trying to act like trying to be something that it isn't. But it was good. But it was a good enough film. It wasn't bad. It was good enough, like a good enough for me, anyway, for a film. Seeing Sylvester McCoy come back for his regeneration, I love that. I love the Doctor's companion, Grace. She was an awesome, well, to be a Doctor companion. Eric Roberts as the Master. Good actor, but not really too keen on his performance of the Master. I mean, first of all, the Master being like a sluggy type creature and just possessing somebody was weird. I mean, a Master possessing some poor body, it's just stupid. They've never done that before. It was stupid. And Paul McGann, though, as the eighth incarnation of the Doctor, loved him. I thought he was one of the best Doctors within Doctor Who by far. Had his costume that he had within the movie, like kind of like a First Doctor feel to it, sort of, and the TARDIS console I liked. Like, I thought that was pretty cool, but the rest of the TARDIS I did not. I thought it was a little bit too big, in my opinion, for a TARDIS. But the main console, that's the only thing I did like within the TARDIS. So, yeah. The main story of like within the movie, I really thought it didn't really get that much interesting until he started like actually being the Doctor, like when Paul McGann's Doctor like realized that he's the Doctor, he gets his memory back, and so on and so forth. But yeah, first few minutes of the movie was a bit slow, but it was good enough for me. I love it. So if I were to rate this film, I would probably give it like a 6 out of 10, Mike. So
great, man, great. Thank you there, Brian. All right, guys. Everybody has spoken about the film. Is there anything else anybody wants to add about the film? Take it away, Texas. Tim or Jimmy.
Go ahead, Jim.
This aired in the United States May 14th, 1996, which was a Tuesday. And some people have mentioned Will Sasso. Will Sasso, as the orderly, should not have been cast. Not because he's bad as an actor or a comedian, but at that time, there was a show on in America called Mad TV. A satirical show, kind of like comedy sketches. It was sponsored by Mad Magazine. It was very popular, got high ratings, and Will Sasso was in the cast. So when I was watching it, and when we Americans were watching it in 1996, we did not see the orderly as a character. We just saw, oh, it's Will Sasso. And what's Will Sasso going to be doing? So that takes away from the believability, because you're not watching a character. You're watching a comedian doing a role. And that takes away from that. Also, like I said, I was looking forward to watching this movie. I had to get special permission to watch the movie because I was a monk at that time. And it was during the Greater Silence that it aired in the monastery I belonged to. And the Greater Silence meant no TV. So I had to get special permission from the abbot to watch this movie. And then I thought, what did I do that for?
Can I just add something? Because I think Mike mentioned it before that I think Grace did kill the doctor. Yeah, she definitely did. It wasn't I don't think the bullets would have killed him in the end. I think it's because of the operation that did it.
Yeah, that was only on one heart. That was only on one heart. The doctor has two hearts. Normally, you have to damage both hearts to kill the doctor. One heart does not kill the doctor. That's why he's got two hearts.
But I still think if she hadn't operated, he might have not regenerated. Maybe.
Well, I was going to say we speculate that McGann was treated badly by not being asked back in 2005, or in 2003 when I think they started putting the show together.
Yeah.
But we don't know that the BBC would have allowed it at that time because, like you said, they were pretty heavy-handed when it came to the use of Sylvester McCoy when this happened. And it's come to light recently as to who Stephen Moffat could ask to be in the 50th anniversary and who he couldn't ask to be in the 50th anniversary. So, I mean, everything that they do has to go past some 6'4" guys at the BBC still today.
Yeah,
so,
that's true. Yeah.
It's amazing what you find out after the fact when people jump to conclusions and stuff about the way things are. And I also wanted to point out something about the book range, because when the show ended in '89, Virgin Books had inherited the Target novels from they had acquired that company or something. So instead of reprinting them, they started writing new books, pretty much written by fans of the series on a monthly basis, carrying on with the Seventh Doctor and Ace. And they did this for about 6 or 7 years. The BBC used this movie as an attempt to pretty much say, thanks, see ya, and took the license back from them and did their own BBC book range with the Eighth Doctor continuing. And so I thought that was pretty much a dick move back in the day, because Virgin had gotten quite a bit. I mean, it's not great literature or anything, but they were pretty popular with Doctor Who fans. Let's put it that way. And I don't think that was right. Again, they can be villains sometimes, the BBC. So
message from my son, who's had to leave us because of students coming in. The characterization at the beginning, certainly, was very much akin to the guy in the Time Machine, the Hollywood Time Machine, Rod someone. And yeah, oddly enough, the whole look and the whole feel of the TARDIS went over towards that. And of course, what was he sitting and reading? He was sitting and reading H.G. Wells' The Time Machine.
Yes.
It just wasn't the right Who feel. It was, it just as easily have been further adventures of the guy from the Time Machine. Obviously without the Morlocks. But then he had, and Aled, I've got to take exception with one thing. Yes, it made you laugh.
What have I said? What have I done?
You say it made you laugh. Well, the whole thing about it is Doctor Who, sometimes has an occasional funny line which relieves the tension. It's not intended to be a comedy. Never has been.
Yeah, but a lot of the new series stuff is like comedy. A lot of the new series, it's
but you tend to get comedy to relieve tension. They don't just throw in funny lines just for the sake of let's make this funny. Once in a while, yes, they will do a sort of comical episode.
Well, we're doing Love and Monsters tomorrow, so
It's a serious episode.
yeah.
The
The Absorber Loft.
But then with Love and Monsters, it's a matter of opinion and perspective.
Oh, that's going to be great, guys. That's going to be tomorrow. It's going to be a fun one. I'm going to say this, guys. Now, I know some of you guys, well, maybe one or two of you guys here actually listen to a lot of the audios, and some of us are vaguely familiar with them. You guys fill in the gaps with us sometimes, with certain things. But now, what's that?
Well, I was going to say about the audio range. When the show came back and was successful in 2005, they broke McGann's Doctor away from, Big Finish did. He was part of an ongoing cycle of stories with a different Doctor every month, 5, 6, 7, and 8. They gave him his own series for radio that was broadcast on BBC 7. And they modeled it a bit after, instead of being like a 4-part story, like was the standard, they did like an hour format, which we reviewed several of those just this last month.
They've been really good. Yeah.
But in other words, it was supposed to kind of tie in with the TV series and feed into that. So that was pretty cool. I thought that he has become very popular as the audio doctor, as one of them anyway. So
If I might bring in one other point, gentlemen. When McGann signed the contract to do the movie, as he had stated at the time, this was just a role for him, a one-time role. He had no interest at that time of coming back and doing the Doctor on a regular basis. This was just a one-shot movie role for him, and he stated as much at conventions that he attended after the movie aired. He basically said, and he showed up in regular clothes, he said, I have no plans to come back on the show as the Doctor. This was just a movie role for me. I'm not coming back to do it again.
Well, there you go, guys. There you go. So now, bam, he came back. So we got Night of the Doctor. Now, really, what did you guys think of that? Now, this, I personally, I didn't know anything about it. I knew we were hearing different things, but I had no clue. When that came on that morning for me, and one of my friends sent me a link, didn't say a word to me. I had no idea what the hell this was. And when I clicked on that link, it was the Night of the Doctor. Like, I had no clue this was coming. I was so excited. It was 6 minutes and whatever seconds. I kept pausing it so it would last longer because I knew it was really short. Like, I kept pausing it and just, like, kind of fanning out, like, oh, my God, man, this guy's freaking awesome, man. As soon as he came in and kind of, said, I'm the Doctor, man. You're like, oh, my God, man. Like, whoa. That was a very excitable moment for me. Now, how did you guys feel when you first saw that, Night of the Doctor? Or did you get spoiled and then see it? That was...
I thought it was cool, but I didn't think it was really necessary. Because I think it works well as a prequel to Day of the Doctor, but to me, it was just a bit fan-winky. Like, here you go. Here's 8, whole 8, and he's going to turn into John Hurt. And that's pretty much what it was set out to do. It's an entertaining 7 minutes, though. It's nice to watch it before you watch Day of the Doctor as a little prequel.
Oh, yeah.
But it was just pretty much, I guess, but I've always thought the best thing about Doctor Who is to leave some stories untold. You leave the gaps there for other people to come and fill in other stories later, which is what this was, actually. This is what they did there. Here's 8 regenerating into not 9.
I remember clicking on the video, and I had no idea Paul McGann was coming back or was going to be in this video. And I just couldn't believe it. I still remember, the feeling of it. It was absolutely amazing to see him back.
When he was filming the 5-ish,
perfectly.
I'm sorry, when he was filming the 5-ish Doctors with 5, 6, and 7, he had to be very quiet about it because he wasn't. It was a big surprise.
Yeah.
So he couldn't tell the other guys that he was going to do that.
I thought it was a little bit of magic. To be perfectly honest, it was a little bit of magic, and the amazing thing was that as soon as McGann appeared on the screen, he was the Doctor.
Yes, 100%.
Absolutely owned the part. He was the Doctor, and that for me just shows what you can do with a bit of British script work and British direction.
Right, Beef Dad. Even not listening to the audios much myself, when he came on screen to me, he was the Doctor, dude.
Immediately, same for me. He was the Doctor immediately, absolutely immediately, and it was really well written as well. I think Stephen Moffat wrote it, and it was really well written.
And I loved his look. His look was great. I loved his look, man. Wow. What about Jimmy here?
I didn't know either. They kept that a great secret. I don't think anyone knew. And I was blown away when I saw it was him. And he was the Doctor from the beginning. It felt like he'd been playing the role for years. And of course he has in the Big Finish audios. Mm-hmm. But I too had been listening to many of the audios up to that time.
Yeah.
But also the minisode gave the impression that maybe the Time Lords aren't good guys. Maybe the Time Lords have been bad guys for millenniums.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why he left the planet. He didn't want to be a bad guy.
But this episode, minisode, brought back the Sisterhood of Khan too, which have appeared in Series 9 as well, And,
Way back in the time when my hair was darker.
The brain of Morbius, man. Another we got to do that one. We are going to do that one. In the upcoming weeks. Yeah, soon. We will, I promise.
Okay.
But what about Harry? Neo, any thoughts on the Night of the Doctor?
I didn't care for it that much.
Oh,
it was more of a attempt by Moffat to fill in the gaps. And as I've said before, the so-called 50th anniversary special was, and this is just my opinion, people may disagree with me on it, but to me the 50th was more of a Moffat tribute to Moffat, not so much a 50th anniversary tribute to the show. But that's just my opinion on the matter.
Amen. Thank you, Harry. What do you think, Neo?
Oh, let's see. I really didn't pay attention to it. And then I said, what's this? And I clicked on it. And I was like, okay, cool. Some Doctor Who. And I looked up and I was like, okay, it's probably Tenet or probably Matt Smith or whatever. And I was like, holy crap, wait a minute. I had to sit there for a minute. I said, oh, who's this? I had the thing. I was like, wait a minute. Is that Paul McGann? I had to pause it, go look at the movie for a minute. Then I said, holy smokes, it's him.
I remember pausing it when I saw McGann, and I immediately rang my brother and started screaming down the phone, thinking you what I was on about. I was screaming that loud.
It was like, what, a few minutes, I think it was?
Almost.
It felt like that to me, anyway.
Almost 6 minutes, wasn't it?
6 minutes.
7 minutes. It's 7 minutes.
But I'm sure, did everybody have their say? Is there anything else anybody wants to add there? Yeah, little Brian down there. What did you think, man? Quickly.
Of what?
God help us.
Night of the Doctor, Brian.
Okay. Night of the Doctor. I loved it. Absolutely loved the Night of the Doctor. I thought it was like the best minisode in Doctor Who history. I loved it that much. Yeah, like you guys were saying, when Paul McGann was playing the Doctor within that minisode, it felt like he was doing the Doctor for years, like for like live action episodes. But he's been doing Big Finish audio, so maybe that improved his Doctor-ness of being the Doctor. So absolutely, I love Night of the Doctor.
All right.
Night of Doctor rocks. Eighth Doctor rocks. Paul McGann rocks. Go Eighth Doctor.
All right, man. Well, there you go, man. There you go. All right, guys. Well, I guess that pretty much wraps that up for the Doctor Who television film. But I will say thanks to all my friends here for joining us, and thank you guys out there for watching us. And there's going to be a lot of things in store for everyone coming 2016. You know, some of us were talking last night about some different shows we're going to be, you know, doing, and other than Doctor Who. You know, but definitely this will be up at some point, you know, today or whatever when you're watching it. I want to thank everybody, you know, for our new subscribers. You know, I want to thank everybody for leaving comments down there. And Mr. Allett over here, he's got a couple plans going on, okay? He's going to be reading some comments. He's going to be doing some top fives for us. He's got little shows going on over there so in the upcoming week. So you guys got to keep an eye out for that. Could be lots of action and adventure around here on the Whovians channel, okay? 2016 is going to be great, man. We're like a rocket ship here, guys. Again, you know, I'm sorry for some of my buddies out there that missed the cast today. Some of our buddies, Lee Wilson, having a blast at the Kenny Rogers concert. Graham's having a great time at the bar. You know, so want to send our wishes out. And I'm glad our buddy Jimmy here is feeling better. Sorry we missed you guys last week, but like I said, I wasn't doing a cast without my buddy Jimmy here because he really wanted to talk about the Eighth Doctor movie. Okay, guys. So stay tuned and make sure you guys tune in tomorrow for something fun. All right, guys. Keep on hooing. Beep. There you go. There.